and also who went to Hyderabad.
Вот так, если я буду говорить, слышно, нет? Харе Кришна. Так я говорю, слышно? Пошло? Да? Ну вот, и чудо, посмотрите на него, Харе Кришна.
Ultimately, what his heart feeling all the time. So he had to conceal that. But in singing the song, what I began to understand in more recent years was that Srila Prabhupada was creating in the disciples. He was creating the samskaras. That one day
Потом стало понятно, что Прабхупада, он создает самскары в людях, чтобы они могли слушать потом от Раджа Расика, Правука Вайшнава. Прабхупада был такой Вайшнав, но не было, еще время не пришло, чтобы Раджа Бхава раздавали. Так или иначе, я хочу начать петь перед началом катхи. Очень много тем я хочу затронуть, непосредственно, которые Прабхупада говорил. И сейчас мы споем. Иногда Прабхупада тоже в гонг бил, играл в Лос-Анджелесе. Очень качественный. Сейчас уже, говорит, такие не делают.
So I have two of my godbrothers here.
И здесь также присутствуют мои два духовных брата.
And I want to request them to
Я хочу
very
попросить их
short.
очень
I have
кратко,
so much I want to cover today.
потому что сегодня я хочу очень много рассказать, поэтому я прошу вас
First Shripad.
вкратце предложить свои Пуспанджали.
So first Shripad Sahadev Prabhu.
Первый Шрипад Сахадев Прабху.
Namaste Sarvadeva Gauravani Pachani Vishesha Shinyavari Pashpachasatani Mahavishtapadadadikaya Priyatmani Srimati Bhaktivedanta Narayani Kinamani Panchakalpatarubhishcha Kipasangabhyevacha Padishana Pavane Vivashnave Namo Namaha. I'm going to tell a story that, yeah. And our god sister Jamuna, in Bhaktivedanta Manor,
Прабхуджи говорит, что однажды, когда они ходили, ну, вот шли, и он говорит, я хотел получить пыль с его стоп Прабхупады. И, но говорит, вот он должен был встать, и я думал, сейчас возьму пыли с отпечатка, а отпечатка не осталось на песке. И я, говорит, свой отпечаток вижу, а Прабхупады нет отпечатка. И Харишавари тоже говорил, что стопы Прабхупады, они очень маленькие. То есть, ну, они такие как бы нежные. И Шрути Кирти и другие преданные то же самое увидели. Перед тем, как я стал преданным, я занимался йогой, аштанга-йогой. И я отправился к гуру, у которого были мистические силы. И когда я встретил Прабхупаду, я влюбился в Прабхупаду, конечно, но это было потом. И когда я увидел, что Прабхупада ходит и не оставляет следов, то я понял, что он лучше, чем любой мистик йог. Юдхиштхира Махарадж тоже не касался земли. И есть комментарии в 4-й песне Бхагаватам, в котором говорится, что когда Приту Махарадж получил даршан Нараяна, то он видит, что Нараян никогда не касается земли. И в комментарии Прабхупады объясняют, что преданный, он трансцендентен, и он никогда не касается этой земли никаким образом, что уж говорить касаться земли. Еще одну историю я хочу сказать. Я в Мелване готовил для Прабхупады 2 недели, Шрути Кирти путешествовал с ним, и он готовил обычно для Прабхупады, но у него было столько служения в тот момент, что он спросил президента храма, кто будет готовить для Прабхупады. И он сказал, Сахадев может готовить. Шрути Кирти пришел и говорит, ты можешь готовить для Прабхупады? Готовить. Я сказал, ничего. Как для Прабхупады готовить? Он говорит, да, для Прабхупады. И там было несколько кастрюлек.
No, I've seen the in Vrindavan. It's there in
Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Very tiffin.
Вот
It's a big,
этот набор кастрюлек, которые на одну ставятся и там готовятся.
For steaming.
Steaming. Then there's rice goes there, and then there's 2 more with holes, and you put vegetables there. So
Prabhupada invented that, by the way.
То есть
Prabhupada
Махарадж говорит,
invented it.
Прабхупада
He had it made
изобрел
before he went.
пароварку еще до того, как она появилась. Ну, кастрюлю на кастрюлю ставишь, и паром готовится. И Шрути Кирти говорит, а Прабхупада не здоровится. когда Прабхупада на самом деле уехал из Индии, у него все время были проблемы с пищеварением.
So then, you know, I would cook like that for Prabhupada. The vegetables were steamed, 2 types of vegetables. They were usually a combination of 2 or 3 vegetables in each one. And then I'd make a simple chaunce for the just cumin seed. What was it? Cumin seed? I think it was black pepper and turmeric. Yeah. And so there was 2 sabjis, a rice and a dal. I was cooking for Prabhupada. So anyway, in breakfast,
Ну, так или иначе, я готовил 2 сабджи, рис и дал. И на завтрак, когда Прабхупада поел, у меня осталось махапрасад на этой тарелке. Что он ел на завтрак? Фрукты. Я помню фрукты, но еще что-то было. Там были бананы, там абрикосы. И я получил махапрасадную тарелку. И пока я шел, пока шел к кухне, преданные они видели, что это тарелка Прабхупады. Они... Махапрасадная тарелка, и преданные все набросились. Там пару капель фруктового сока было. И мы все съели. Мы съели даже шкурки бананов, шкурки апельсинов. Хараш говорит, Мадавендра Пури вообще горшок глиняный съел. Прабхупада чистый вайшнав, у него все качества вайшнава.
He was so affectionate. Like the first time I saw Prabhupada was in Sydney when he came, and
Первый раз, когда я видел Прабхупаду, он был в Сиднее.
And then Prabhupada retired into his room. And so later on we had prashadam in the evening prashadam, and then outside, because in the Glebe temple was a huge backyard. It was
Короче, неудобно здесь переводить, поэтому фигово так получается.
And so we used to hang out there, you know, after evening prashadam. So Prabhupada just came out. We were basically sitting down, we're chatting on, and then Prabhupada came out. And what struck me the most was Prabhupada's humility. You know, Prabhupada was a big guru, you know, he was in control of temples all over the world. He had, you know, so many followers, disciples. But there's no ego, there's no, I'm a big man, I'm a big person, nothing at all, you know. And he related to us like his children, you know, like a father relates to the children. And so that humility really, I was basically blown away by Prabhupada's humility. I never thought that such humility could exist, even, you know. I was astounded. And then Prabhupada began to talk to us with so much love and affection that hearts just melted, you know. And if I had any doubts up to that time, they were just blown away, you know. And so I felt like, yes, I will dedicate my life to Prabhupada. I mean, his love for us was millions of times more than our parents or anyone else that could love us. Our hearts just melted. And you hear stories about devotees just dropping everything. Prabhupada, you know, even married people. Prabhupada said, oh, you go to Sweden, open a temple. You go to Africa, open it, you know. And we had no other agenda in our life except serving Prabhupada. We you know, like, I mean, nowadays, you know, devotees, they have a life apart from their bhajan and Krishna consciousness. They're either working because they're householders or doing something. We had no other work or nothing except just serving Prabhupada all day. And we could do that because so much affection Prabhupada had for us. And so yeah, the first time I saw Prabhupada in Sydney, he gave a lecture.
What year was that?
Huh?
You remember the year?
1972, I think. 71 or 72, I think it was 72. So Prabhupada's giving a lecture. So one of the people that came to hear the lecture, like Kami, he halfway through the lecture he said Prabhupada, no, he said Swamiji. He said Swamiji. He said we are all Krishna, we are all one. You know, and then because previously we've been reading in Prabhupada's books Mayavadis. You know, Prabhupada's bashing the Mayavadis. And we're thinking, who are these Mayavadis? You know, we've never seen one. We were the Mayavadis. But anyway, so we recognized that this is a Mayavadi. So we burst out laughing. A real Mayavadi right here, in front of Prabhupada even. And Prabhupada said, no, stop. So then Prabhupada explained to him, you know, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that we are emanating from Krishna. We are like little Krishnas. And Krishna is the big source of us. And that we have a relationship in loving service to Krishna. Now, and you know, I saw that he understood what Prabhupada was saying. He actually understood that and he accepted it. So then, many years later, after Prabhupada left this external world, physical person, sorry, one of my godbrothers, Chidahari. You know Chidahari? Yeah. So anyway, this man came up to Chidahari and he said to him, oh, you may not remember me, but I'm that man that said that we're all one in Sydney. And so he proceeded to tell Chidahari that you know, that he loved Prabhupada and that Prabhupada treated him with so much love and affection that he could never forget for the rest of his life. So his whole life, he had so much feeling for Prabhupada. He never took initiation. But, you know, the majority of people who met Prabhupada, their hearts just melted. And they even though they couldn't take the Krishna consciousness, they remembered Prabhupada favorably for the rest of their life. So that's one of the qualities of devotee. And shall I tell my story? Well, this is in Melbourne. Yeah. I spent quite a few years in Melbourne. So when Prabhupada came to Melbourne, we hired a huge, big Rolls Royce, the fanciest Rolls Royce you can imagine. We hired that for Prabhupada, the big product. So in the Rolls Royce, the driver was there, then Amoga, Chidahari, and Madhudvisa was there. So Amoga, he was, I think he was sitting next to Prabhupada. Amoga pointed, you know, to the people on the street. He said, all these sinful karmis, you're all going to hell. Amoga, he was like that, you know. And then Chidahari told me the story. So when he looked at Prabhupada, the tears were coming from Prabhupada's eyes. And he said, yes, but how can we save them? Even, you know, Prabhupada went to so much effort to preach and to impress upon people all over the world about Krishna. Like, one time Prabhupada had deities made, of Gaunitai deities and Radha and Krishna deities, 3 different sizes, like this size, and then really big size. You know about that? No, anyway, so Prabhupada's plan was, and I met the sculptor who was a disciple of Prabhupada, who he's expert sculptor. So Prabhupada employed him to make these deities. And they were made with ashtadhatu, like eight metals. And there was quite a bit of gold in there. So anyway, so Prabhupada's plan was to put them in department stores so people would buy them and put them on the mantelpiece of their fireplace. Because, you know, like in those days, people had fireplaces with a mantelpiece and they put beautiful things on the mantelpiece. And Prabhupada, and the sculptor told me personally, he said that Prabhupada said that if anyone sees these deities in the department store, or if they buy the deities, take them home, and when they see them, they're getting Sukriti. And if anyone says, oh, they're such beautiful statues, then they're getting even more Sukriti. You know? So it's such a simple thing. You know, Prabhupada was thinking of everyone. You know? No, he wasn't thinking just of some exclusive groups of people. No, everyone. Men, women, children.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
But you're telling me more details, like exactly who was sculpting. But at the time when I heard about it, Prabhupada had a plan that, you know, the deities would be sold in these department stores. They'd have a nice box, you know, that they would come in. And in the box would also be some incense sticks.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
there would be like a little note there saying that, you know, every day you should light one of these and make 3 circles or whatever, you know, some instruction like that. Prabhupada had a plan to do this in mass. I never heard that it happened, but that was his plan.
I have the first Gaunitai deities. I bought them off the sculptor. He needed money. And he said, look, I'll sell you the first ones, you know. Because, you know, when you make what do you call it?
A mold.
A mold, every deity that is done in that mold, it gets less and less fine features, you know. But they're beautiful deities.
I think Prabhupada's plan was to order from India.
To have them made in India.
Thousands of sets of deities.
Who can make ashtadhatu in the West anyway?
Well, it wouldn't have been ashtadhatu, but, you know, that was that particular sculptor.
Yeah.
But Prabhupada had a plan to bring from the, you know, Murti Wallas in India by the hundreds and put them in department stores. Yeah, that was the plan.
Even the TOVP here, Prabhupada wanted the structure of the universe as a challenge to the scientists and people all over the world, you know, to establish the value, you know, of Vedic culture and Vedic knowledge. And that's still, it's going on now. Okay, Prabhu, I'll stop there. I don't want to take up too much time.
It's so nice to hear the glories of our Gurudev and the pure Vaishnava. It reminds me of a verse, Akshnofalam Tadrisha Darshanam Kanofalam Tadrisha Garta Sangha Jiva Falam Tadrisha Kirtanami Sadurlabam Bhakti Loke. Perfection of the eyes is to see the pure devotee. The perfection of the touch is to touch them, especially their lotus feet. And the perfection of the ears is to hear their Harikata from their lotus mouth, plus hear the glories of their, you know, personality. It's so nice. So we're so fortunate. Jnanatamrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshumi Tamrena Tasmai Shri Gure Namah. Gurudev Gaur Chandra Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnai Krishna Bhaktai Tat Bhaktai Namo Namo Vancha Kalpadrubhischa Kripa Sindhubhe Vichapatitanam Paribhyo Vaishnavi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. So there's so much topic that could be spoken, but it's nice just to hear these personal stories. So before I get into my personal story, I feel like when you were speaking, just Prabhupada's interactions with different people, you know, out of the blue, someone would come in contact with him and they would be so touched. So I think it was Shruti Kirti, and he was on a flight with Srila Prabhupada, and he was giving him, they would take prasadam for Prabhupada. So they were serving him prasadam. And I think first he had some fruit, and then he had some puffies or something, muri, you know. And when he was taking the muri, the stewardess, I think she was from a different, because Prabhupada traveled in first class, but she came and she had been friendly with the devotees and would come back and be with them and ask them if they needed anything. But then when she saw that Prabhupada was eating this one puffed rice preparation, she came up and she actually took some. She just took some and said, "Oh, this is very nice. What is it, you know?" and then the flight went on like that. But she was so touched by Prabhupada's presence that she was like attracted like a magnet, you know. And he would, when you were in Prabhupada's presence, you just felt like you were in Vrindavan, you know. It was like there was so much amazing atmosphere. So then years later, I think that servant, it might have been Shruti, maybe it was a different, but he was in Brazil, and he was telling the story. And Brahmachari raised his hand and he said, "I'm a Sankirtan devotee, and we were doing Sankirtan door to door in villages, and we were in a remote village, practically out of nowhere, and I knocked on the house and opened the door, and this lady said, 'Hare Krishna, please come in, please come in.' And there were pictures in her house of Krishna, and she said, 'You know, I met your spiritual master. I used to be a stewardess.' And I don't